Alright, welcome back, Science 7. Today we are continuing our Unit C, Heat and Temperature. Chapter 1, Human Needs Have Led to Technologies for Obtaining and Controlling Heat. We are on the third lesson of Chapter 1. A little bit of review. After the Industrial Revolution, humanity have switched the source of the heat from woods to something else. And those are the one that's coming as a fossil fuel, which is one of the type, coal. Combustion of coal produces excessive air pollutants, and you need to remember, even though it does have other chemicals that is toxic to others, number one is carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide. So those three gases basically speed up not only the greenhouse effects, but at the same time acidification of the whole ecosystem. And this pattern happened all over the global. So after the modern time, how did humans use heat? Well, I'm going to focus on most of the northern hemisphere just because in northern hemisphere we have more electricity available and we have more advanced technology. There are several places in southern hemisphere that still rely on non-electronic technology, either economic reason or the tribe culture reason. You got the idea. So we invented electric heater as the one that you see. Sometimes it come out as air conditioner too, but we have those refrigeration line connecting to air conditioner or heat pump or both, and that create a heat circulation, warm up the air, cool up the air. So when it comes to its energy path, where it starts from? It starts from electrical energy. Even though electrical energy, most of the time we burn fossil fuel and other natural energy like solar energy, wind energy, but let's focus on directly on this house environment. So from electric energy, and two, it become heat energy. So I want you to think about this from and to, electric to heat. This is a new form of the energy. And so far, this is most efficient method with least health problem. And this least health problem is the one that I want to focus on. You don't need to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning, those kind of things, because we are not directly burning up the coal or directly burning up the woods. And those fumes can make us suffocated. Now let's press a little pause button. I want you to work on this problem. Science log activity number 4. I want you to put some technology that is not discussed in this PowerPoint. But you see those that humans have invented and created to stay warm or anything that utilize heat. We're going to go through my 2 examples at least, and I want you to put explanation about those 2. So pause this video and work on this science log activity number 4. All right, so I'm assuming that you already did your part, and now I'm going to go through my example. Note the fact that my example may not be exact same as you, then write this part. So the example that I can think of is any type of engine. And when I say engine, it can be a car or boat or airplane or any type of the one that use machinery. It can be train also, etc., etc. The second example that I'm going to go through is oven, or it can be any type of teapot too, like electric kettle in the kitchen. So first example, engine. So how these guys, oh, there you go. utilize heat. So the example that I put, number one, I specifically point out how to utilize the heat, and second part I'm using is how can we stay warm. So I separately put those into different category. Engine, first of all, we have many different type of sources. Sources are either fossil fuel, so chemical energy, or it can be what should I call it? Electrical energy from a battery. Even though battery source is chemical energy. Just let me put that to produce. So how they're utilizing heat. First thing first, engine is run by heated air, or that goes through the pump or move piston. If you think about any type of engines diagram, you may notice that heated air are the one that rotate the whole pump, or sometimes turbine, those kind of thing. Engine heated air molecules. So why they're utilizing the heat? Because airs, if they hit it, they like to escape. Heated air always try to escape the pipe or chamber. For example, if you're heated up, you like to move away from that heat source. So if you touch hot stove, your body react to get away from it. Think about that way. Heated air try to escape the hot environment. And while that happens, motor rotates, and then some of the engine actually I should have specifically put some steam engine. So some of those mechanism is good enough to rotate some of those motor. That's an old technology. Nowadays we are not using those as much, but some are available. Oven and electric kettle. Well, first of all, their sources are electric energy. From the source is electrical energy that is directly coming from AC plug on the wall. So what happened is they are actually use it to stay warm. They heat the electrical circuit in the machine. So when the electrical circuits get really hot, then it boils water for kettle, or it makes the oven hot, heated air molecules. And using that, we are basically heating up the food. So have that in your mind. So humans sometimes use heat excessively. Like what I'm talking about is we don't really need all of these technologies just because we need it to survive. Sometimes we are using as luxury. For example, hair dryer. Technically, we don't need hair dryer to live our life. Some female student may say, no, we need it. But if you think about ancient time, we just blew our hair and to make it dry using natural wind. Other part, some of you may have it, some kind of heated fan, the one that glows over here. And this is very similar as my example that I went over, because this part of the coil gets heated up and it produces heat radiation. Other part, some of those hot plate, if you don't know what this is a hot plate to warm things up. And some of those air conditioners. I mean, I love air conditioning too when it comes to really hot day, but this is luxurious item. So let's do another activity. I want you to pause this video and construct a table and list 5 needs and 5 wants in your home. 5 needs are what you have to have, ladies and gentlemen. And 5 wants is basically think about what you have it. It's not necessarily needed to survive, but it's good to have it. So I want you to go through that. Once you finish, here's my example. And my example can be different than yours, obviously. So some of the needs: boiler and radiator. Other part is water tank and heater to warm up the water. Some of my other example, 5 needs of, what was it? In home or life. Other heat that we use is and my last one, so my 5 needs, I put these example: boiler in home or basement, radiator that you have in some of the rooms. These 2 are used to warm up the environment, the house actually. And I put my third one, water tank and heater. I need actually it can be a little luxurious part, but warm water or hot water. Vehicle's engine, I need the vehicle to move place to place, and we use combustion of fossil fuel, and that can be like gasoline or diesel, depends on what type of car that you're dealing with, right? Diesel. Heating plates on stove for cooking. Got the idea. 5 wants, I guess my want is hair dryer. This is the one, well, dry my hair. Well, my wife uses it a lot with obviously reasons. She has longer hair. The other part is dryer for laundry. Technically, you can naturally dry your laundry, right? But there's a barrel roll looking drum roll having dryer inside of most of the houses. Actually, do use electric kettle a lot for my teas. Ironing my shirts. And last one, I do have a heating fan. My wife uses a lot, but those are the one that is luxurious product, not necessary. We can even wear more clothes and more socks, right? So something that you need to think of is this: sustainability. How much energy that we can reserve or conserve, I guess, so that we can sustain our energy so that future generation can use. Like for example, coffee maker. I love coffee. Every teachers love coffee. Most of the adults love coffee too. We need it in the morning for working the whole hours of work. Basically, coffee maker, I want you to look at it. It uses 61 kilowatts, and that means it costs about $6.10 per month. And single-use pot coffee maker keeps hot water on standby. That means it keeps the hot water and maintain that condition, and it costs about an extra $5 per month. So when it comes to certain, where is it? When it comes to certain important part, sorry, I'm just gonna, there you go. Important part, you need to understand that there are different sustainability situations. For some reason, it doesn't get off, so I'm going to do this part. Oh, there you go. I want you to write these. There are various sources of heat energy in home. Some use electricity, and you know some of the company that use electricity, such as EPCOR, EPCOR, EPCOR. Those are available in Edmonton area. Natural gas. There's some company. I'm not too sure about Devon's company, but ATCO, ATCO. Those are the company that provides those to heat up the environment. Water, sometimes hot water or water vapor, and wood. And obviously, not a lot of people use wood to make the environment heated up, unless you're going into really old cabin. But even then, they have natural gas. Excessive use of heat energy damages the environment because we are burning a lot of fossil fuel, global warming, yada, yada, yada. Look at the other example. Aquarium. If you have fish, in order to maintain that condition, it uses 168 kilowatts. That's about $13.68 per month. And it costs very significantly by the tank size, small, medium, large, and how big, the presence of water plants, and the need of specific fish species like exotic seawater species. You need more to keep the temperature, saline condition, everything. Hair dryer, I mentioned to you, 4.68 kilowatts, but these are the ones that use a lot of electricity at one moment, and hair dryer uses about 1,075 watts to generate heat itself and blow a powerful stream of air toward that. Generally, hair is where people put, right? Okay, there we go. The other one, smartphone charger. Fortunately, this is the one where we have the least so far, but keep it charging, well, you keep paying it. So think about how much the school is paying whenever you're charging the phone and your devices, right? This is a big one, refrigerator. The reason being is because we need to constantly maintain the low temperature situation. Low temperature. So have that in your mind. I cannot draw low or decrease in temperature using the arrow. Refrigerator on average use about 225 watts to cool your food, and they generally turned on all the time, and that's no wonder because you don't want to have a spoiled food. So ladies and gentlemen, okay, one more. One thing that I want to point out is whenever I mention about watts and kilowatts, it's a measure of energy. K for kilo, so that means it's 1,000. So whenever you see kilowatts, that means you have 1,000 watts in a whole hour. So if you think about all of those technology that you're using in your home, know the fact that it is not cheap. And that is today's lesson, folks.